Hey friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my kitchen table, which has now become my embroidery filming station. I am super excited about today's video because I have a fun tutorial for y'all. I posted this embroidered basket over on my Instagram and I got tons and tons of DMs and comments asking me to do a tutorial on how I made it look like a woven basket. And it's actually really simple, but I thought I would film this tutorial to show you guys a step-by-step on how you can create your own woven basket. If you are new to my channel and you have not watched any of my embroidery videos and you want a starting place on how to embroider as well as all of the supplies that you may need, I have an embroidery 101 video which I believe has over 200,000 views now, which is actually insane because you guys saw that video. It was definitely just like I feel like putting this out. I was not trying to like start anything with embroidery, but so many of y'all have jumped on the train and that makes me so happy. So I'm super excited to follow that up with another tutorial. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, be sure to follow me at LIKEYOU. That's where I post all of my embroideries as well as share yours on there. So thank you for tagging me and sharing with me all of your projects. It seriously makes my day. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I've got my drink, I've got a bowl of popcorn, I've got my water bottle, and we are gonna start embroidering a basket. Alright, so this is the embroidered basket, and as you can tell, it has this really nice texture where it looks like it's actually woven, but what it really is a bunch of small short stitches. So I'm gonna show you guys how to make this basket, and it's actually one of the easiest things to embroider. So we're gonna start with a blank hoop, and as you can see, I went ahead and I drew out the size of my basket. You can make your basket a square, you can make it a super tall basket, a super wide and short basket. It doesn't really matter. You could even round out the edges if you want, but for this basket, it's basically just a square. So we're starting with this. I just sketched this with a pencil. I am not gonna be splitting the thread on this one, and because we're not splitting the thread on this one, it's gonna be a little bit of a thicker woven design, which you may like or you may not like, just depending on preference is how you decide whether to split the thread or not. If you are working on a pretty big basket, I would suggest not splitting the thread. If you're working on this size basket or even smaller, I would suggest splitting the thread. Other than that, it's preference. Depending on the size in which you're working is how I would decide. But because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing and I want it to show up on here, I am not gonna split the thread. So because we are working on a basket, I'm gonna use this tan color, which is what color a basket would be. And this piece has already been cut, but like I said, this piece of thread has not been split. If you're confused at this point, be sure to check out my embroidery 101 video that will answer all of your questions. So I'm gonna thread my needle and we're gonna leave about this much like this. Now I'm gonna go to the end of the thread and I'm gonna tie a knot just at the end. All right, so we're gonna start in the bottom corner right here. Notice how we have the knot in the back, so it's keeping it from pulling it through. You can knot it or you can do small stitches and just hold it in the back. Depends on your preference. So what we're gonna do once we've come up through the back is we're going to stitch over it. Just a short, small stitch, like this. Then we are going to come up almost exactly where we just went through, but enough to where it's not the same hole. So you're just gonna move it over just the tiniest little bit, and then we're gonna do another small stitch across, come up right next to it, but not the same spot. And then over again, come up right next to it, but not the same spot. And over one more. All right, so we've got our first line of the woven pattern done. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up on the side above it, and we're gonna stitch to the middle of one of these. So think of it as bricks. When you lay bricks down, you're not stacking them directly on top of each other with them lining up. You're stacking them kind of alternating. So we're gonna do the same thing with this woven pattern. So I'm gonna go to the middle of that first stitch right there, so that it's a little bit shorter. Then I'm gonna come up right next to it, and I'm gonna go to the middle of this next stitch. So see how we're creating an alternating pattern? I'm gonna come up right next to it and go to the middle of the next stitch. Doing this actually gives it the illusion of it being woven. So come up next to it, to the middle of the next stitch, and then come up next to it, and then go to the edge of the basket. So as you can see, we have 2 layers now, and we've got them alternating. We're gonna start on this side, and we're gonna go back across, alternating in the same pattern. So we're gonna come up right here, and we're gonna go over to the middle of this stitch. And hopefully visually this is really helpful. Obviously describing this feels very repetitive, but I'm hoping that you being able to see what I'm doing is more helpful. And we're gonna go over to the middle of that stitch. And now you can really start to see the pattern of the basket start to take shape. And you're probably thinking at this point, wow, that's super, super easy. This is definitely just a trick that I kind of made up on my own. I don't know if this is like a common thing. I've never really seen anybody do it. Might be really common, I just don't know. But this is just something that I came up with, and I thought you guys would be really interested in learning. So now I'm gonna finish out this basket, which is just the exact same stitching all the way through. I also forgot to mention that if you are wanting any traceable templates, I've got some on my website, and I just added this little guy right here. So if you want this design to trace and make on your own, you can find that on my blog post, which will be linked down below in the description box, as well as all of the other designs that I have. But that page on my website is basically just a full kind of resource guide on things that you may need, templates that I like, supplies that I use, and basically all things embroidery. So if you are interested in starting, you can check out that as well as my Embroidery 101 video, and that should give you everything that you need to get started. Alright, so now that we've gotten the woven design done, you guys can see there's tons of texture, but this is what the back looks like. So it's super, super minimal on the back, but the front just has this amazing kind of woven design. You could also use this if you wanted to make like a woven rug or something like that. Now we're gonna make the handles, and I'm gonna grab my pencil again. The handles are super easy, but basically it's just 2 loops. So 1 and 2. And we're gonna just take the thread, and we're gonna start at the base of the handle. And we're just gonna make tiny straight stitches. And we're gonna do a back stitch, and then a forward stitch. If you're not sure what these terms are, again, I promise you if you check out that Embroidery 101 video, it will seriously catch you up. Backstitch basically means you're stitching backwards where you just came from. Here we have the first handle. As you can see, it just looks like a little basket handle, which is super, super cute. So first handle is done. Now we're gonna work on the second handle right here. And I'm actually gonna end my thread and start over on that side. I'm just gonna knot it in the back, cut it, and then start on the second handle. And then starting on the second handle, I'm gonna start right here at the base. and do these small stitches. That was my back stitch. Now I'm gonna do my forward straight stitch, going forward on the design, coming up further on the design right here, and stitching backwards to where we just came from. Stitching forward, and then coming up further on the design right here, and stitching backwards. Forward to finish off the handle. So that is our finished basket embroidery. Now I'm going to flip it over, knot it, and cut. So as you guys can see, this woven basket has a ton of texture, and this is just a fun trick to add some variety to your embroideries. But I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I cannot wait to see what you guys make. Be sure to tag me on Instagram at @bychloewen so that I can see if you make this little basket embroidery. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Be sure to check out my embroidery playlist. I think I have how to embroider a plant, how to embroider a macrame, how to embroider 101. So there's a ton of videos that I am working on to show you guys more in-depth tutorials. So if you'd like to stick around and learn some more embroidery from me, as well as just be a part of my YouTube channel, I post some thrifting, fashion, beauty, lifestyle content as well. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you back for some more videos, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!